All right. So I am super excited about this call for a couple of reasons. So I'm a double diamond with It Works Global, and Mira and Lauren and I met through the Tomorrow's Triples group, really, and then got to meet in person at conference at the cocktail hour. And so that was super fun to get to meet, put faces with names and be able to see each other in real life after working in the Tomorrow's Triples group together for a couple of months before that. So I wanted to put this call together because I know that there's a lot of us that are pushing for triple very, very soon. And I just love Mira and Lauren dearly. And I'm super excited for them to be able to share their stories with you guys and their best tips. So I have some questions for them that I sent them in advance. I'll read them out loud to you guys. But if you have additional, if anyone thinks of something while they're talking, feel free to throw it in the chat and we can definitely address it. So Mira, I'm going to start with you and I will mute myself.
Sounds great. Yeah. So I guess I'll just start up telling my story a little bit. I joined in March of 2015. I was 38, I had a 1-year-old, and worked full time. Had been in kind of a corporate setting for a while and kind of climbed the ranks. So it's actually an associate vice president in my company, but just it's a nonprofit, wasn't making enough money to make ends meet. And once my son was born, the debt was just horrible with childcare expenses. I just totally didn't budget that at all when I was pregnant. So I joined kind of not knowing a lot because I had been watching a friend sort of climb up the ranks, and sort of jumped in just out of desperation, frankly, at that point. Kind of classic story of spending the last $99 I had on a credit card to join, and just kind of ran like crazy. I joined the very end of March, and the Ruby $1,000 bonus was available in April of 2015. So I ran and kind of got that in a month. Again, having tried basically no products until I joined. And I don't even remember those months very well. I don't even remember how I got Diamond, but I made, I'm like, how did I put that together? Because I didn't really have a good working team yet, but I made Diamond in 4 months, and then I made double in 12 months. So in March 2016, during double good season, so I'd hit a $10,000 bonus at Diamond and a $30,000 bonus at double in March 2016. And where I'm at, I had multiple uplines that were triple or double, stronger doubles than me. I live in Maine, so I should have said that. I'm sorry. I live in Portland, Maine. And unlike maybe some areas where you guys come from, there was really kind of just one big team at that point for the most part. So all the leaders, we were all sort of connected on a chart. So all these triples and the stronger doubles and me, the more veteran doubles. A lot of people had bought volume to kind of hit the double good bonuses, and lots of not very smart building practices. People were really competitive and with each other on my upline. And so, everybody, there was just a lot of energy around forcing promotions. And so I was kind of coached to buy a bunch of volume to go double. And I coached my Diamond to do the same. And she wasn't she did it, and she's totally for it, for promoting, but wasn't really a lifer. And I knew that at the time. She just didn't have the strength and the will to go through the hard times and not just the good. And she was pregnant, or she got pregnant right around there. So within 4 months, that kind of collapsed. I think I held double until August. But I lost my double in August of 2016. That Diamond basically quit. She was about 6 months pregnant. She just didn't really want to fight. She just didn't have a fight. And I'm still actually really good friends with her, but that's just kind of where she was at. And that was a huge life lesson for me. Then at that same time, all of my uplines started fading or straight out quitting. So it was like this horrible period of like, I'm fading, my diamond quits, my upline's fading and quitting. Like everybody raced to get the double good. And like within 6 months, like everybody was gone. It was crazy. And so I never gave up though. And a lot of it has to do a little bit with my personality colors. I'm fiercely loyal. Like I'm red green, like to the core. I'm hardcore red. I'm hardcore green. Like don't have a lot of the other colors in me. And so that loyalty in the green, like I'm like, well, they paid me really well so far. Like even though I lost my bonus, like of course I'm going to stick with it. I don't know. It just didn't ever dawn on me to like go to another company or whatever, like some other people were. And so I just kept plotting, and I got really, at that point, I kind of was always looking around of what's the next thing, and really got into traction marketing, learned it really well, got a lot better at it, got a little more confident. And I started getting a ton of loyal customers. And that sort of helped me keep Diamond. So through December of 2016, I was able to hold on to Diamond, but December of 2016 was my very worst month, where I had to buy volume to maintain Diamond. And, kind of classic December of like, just things where, people, it was just hard. It was hard volume wise. I was pretty consistent with Steps to Success once or twice every month, most of my months in the business. But the people that I were recruiting that like last 6 months of 2016 were just not really, they just weren't good, kind of good life or a good, they didn't stick with it. So I kind of, in December 2016, I was kind of facing like this weak Diamond. I had tons of doubts, you guys, like so many doubts of what I was, I knew I wasn't going to stop the business, but I was like, what is this going to do? Like, is this ever going to be like a real avenue of escape? At that point, I knew I had to file for a divorce from my husband. It was a really, really, really toxic situation. My son was 2.5 at that point, and I needed the business to work so I could at least pay for the legal bills and like kind of get myself out. And so all those things kind of made me stay with it and made me try to get better. But things didn't look very good. So that was now 18 months ago from today, which is so crazy when I think about my life. So on right around Thanksgiving, I was just doing my traction marketing posts like we all do. Around Thanksgiving, a woman wrote me who lives literally like 2 minutes away from me and said, I've been seeing your posts. Can you tell me a little about the business? I don't want to go back to work. I just had my second child. And long story short, 18 months and 20 months into my business, so I think it was 20 months at that point, I found my first real person. And her name's Erica, and lives super close to me. We didn't know each other, different generations, and she had just moved back to the area. And she took off. She was a strong recruiter. I just put a lot of energy into getting her to Diamond and kind of help her there. I started building my second leg back, but I was really focusing on her. Like, she wants it. Like, this is awesome. Even if I'm still a Diamond and she's a Diamond, fine. Like at least I'm working with somebody that like, so that kind of like propelled me, got me confident again. I found my fire again from that. So I was starting to recruit. I rebuilt that second leg to at least like kind of that emerald volume. And I was kind of flipping between double and Diamond all the summer of 2017. But my paychecks were a lot better. I, at that point, was close to the divorce, was able to pay the legal bills. So I kind of had all that stuff. Like, that was all great. So September 2017, my divorce was final August 22nd. And anybody who's gone through that or has loved ones that have gone through that, like, especially coming out of a really bad situation, it was like a huge weight came off me. So that's a really important part to what I'm about to talk about next. This is how I kind of went triple. So I just really, all that emotional baggage, it's not like it wasn't still there in some form, but a lot of the presence of it kind of dissipated. And I recruited a person that I actually thought was not going to be very good on September 1st, placed her in the key place in my second league, which was still sort of like going back and forth all over the place. Eric was rocking out as a strong Diamond, and And this girl, Molly, just kind of felt it. And at the same time, we had our first one team, one mission in Portland ever. So even though there had been all those triples and doubles who had then faded, and by this time, 2007, late 2017, they were basically non-existent, even though some of them just kept getting paid. We'd never had an OTOM in Maine at all, like my entire state. So Mary Beth Dodd, kind of when they came on, the FDRs had reached out to me and a couple other people, like, let's get an OTOM there. Of course, I was so nervous, like wicked nervous, because it's not anything that I felt comfortable doing. And we had that OTOM, and I was on like 3 panels. Like, it was the first time I ever was like put up on a stage, like as a leader. And it was like overnight in terms of my confidence. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And that combined with the effect of the OTOM on the people that were at there. So I had one guest sign that went under Molly, who ended up going big. Molly ended up recruiting a bunch of people. This is the woman I had signed September 1st. This OTOM was September 8th, and Molly came there. And so that whole leg, that second leg exploded. And I got confident again. So the biggest thing that changed for me to go triple was mindset, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And then from there, by the end of September, I knew that I was meant to be triple diamond, which is not how at this point, I was 22 months in my business. I never thought that in my entire business. I always thought I wasn't good enough. So by the end of September of 2017, I'm like, no, you're meant to be triple. And so again, being a green red, I started I got to build my third leg. I got to help Erica go double. I've got to get this new leg that's booming, like to a solid diamond. And I systematically started hitting steps of success more 2 to 3 times, knowing exactly I needed to get. And it took me, I knew it was going to take this long, from September to March. March is when I went triple, to build all of that, where I had the right leaders, right? Because I was building that third diamond. I was throwing people there, but it was like the 8th person I put on there, that third leg in that September to November swing, that was the right person. She recruited all 5 of her top lines. Then I helped her a ton, but she was diamond material. And so that's another huge part that I want to talk about, is just you got to wait for the right people to a certain extent if you want to stay triple, so that's kind of my story. And I don't know, Kelly, do you want me to just go straight into the mindset thing? Because I feel like that, to me, that's the biggest thing that changed. Does that make sense?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I would love
so this is what happened to me. Like I was saying, so in September 2017, entering the OTOM, I didn't believe that, I would never believe it would be double. I didn't even have 30,000 BV ever. And I think I told Aspen at some point, I'll never even hit 30,000 BV. This is ridiculous, completely diminishing myself. And so I went into that OTOM, and like I said, I came out of that and I was like, okay, I just did everything that a triple did, and I felt so confident. Everybody was patting me in the back. It just boosted my confidence to be up there and doing all that. But I also had, because, I do have that strong red, I had somebody get in my face a little bit. Somebody that I respected a ton, that was a veteran in the company, and just basically was like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't want you to walk. She literally said to me, I don't know if anybody's heard me say this before. She said to me in I don't know, I think it was at Nashville in September, that boot camp that was there. She said to me, you're never walking across the stage as a triple again, Mira. And she's so serious. And it literally reprogrammed my brain. I walked off and I was like, I'm never walking across the stage as a double again. And it was that combination of this person that I really respected, who called me out. And she did it a couple times. She said, why are you thinking that way? Why are you thinking you're not worthy? You are equal to, all these leaders. Get your butt up here, and nobody had ever done that to me. In fact, I don't think anybody had ever expressed belief to me that I could be more. I'd have people say, oh, you're doing great, blah, blah, blah. But I never had somebody look me in the eye and say, no, you are going triple, girl. I didn't have that kind of leaders. I had leaders that were not either disappeared or were more focused on themselves. So when I had that person infuse that belief in me, in combination with me seeing that the OTM, I walked out of there believing that I could do it. And I think there's two mindset steps, right? The first step is you've got to believe that you can do it, right? That you are worthy, that you're good enough, that it can happen, that, you know, bad things aren't going to happen. You're not expecting the bad thing. You believe it can happen. And then the second piece is I will do that. Like the determination, the grit, I will do that. And that, for people that know me a little bit, like Nikki's on here, that is a piece that once I got over my insecurities, like I already had that as a red personality. So when March hit, I want you guys to hear what I'm about to say. So I'm in a very, you know, like small knit community in Maine. My team is 80% local. And I had my personal enroller, who also lives 2 minutes away from me, go to a competing company. She officially resigned from It Works and went to a competing company in the middle of March, in the middle of my triple run, and was trying to cross recruit my entire team, like viciously. Like, this is how she was. So you guys have to remember, I'm already locked in. I'm like not sleeping. I'm working full time still. I'm a single mom, and all this emotional stuff, people freaking out, like, why is everyone leaving? What's going on with this girl, blah, blah. And it was like the willpower that I had to exert to keep my leadership in line, all my downline in line, and to not get distracted, because I was freaking going triple. Like, she was not slowing me down. In fact, it probably made me angrier and more determined. And so, you know, that decision, and I didn't say I will go triple until March. Like, I knew that March was kind of my month. I kind of felt that. But then once March 1 hit, I was like, no, I'm going triple. And honestly, like, there were pieces of my team, like, if you looked at it, you'd be like, that's crazy bananas. We had 10,000 BV left to go on the 25th, but I was frickin' going triple. So I say that because there's that first decision that not everybody may be able to say, I will go triple in June right now, but you can say, I can go triple, and I believe in myself. All right. So I just want to, those are the two mindset things. And the piece of that we can get to, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but as soon as I saw the effect of that on me, I started executing that on my leaders and my newbies and everything. To, you know, like, how often do we really look at somebody and say, I believe in you. I believe you can do this, right? We may be giving them tips and all that junk, but do you really look at somebody and empower them to know that you believe in them? And I think that's another reason why my leaders have gotten so much stronger the last 6 months, is because I've been actualizing that technique, which is definitely not something that I was doing before. So I'll shut up for a minute. Thank you. Sorry. I'm just looking at all the comments.
I can tell you've been spending time with Cami, because that's, like, you're so right about empowering people, and that's how Cami makes everyone feel when she talks to them. And
100%. Yeah.
I love that. Miss Lauren.
Hi. That was perfect timing, because we were driving home for dinner and we were trying to land it, and, like, literally perfect timing. So hi everybody. My name is Lauren Ravan, and I'm from South Carolina, a tiny, tiny town in South Carolina called Lyman. But I joined the business also in March, but it was March of 2017. And I had not been watching people's journeys. I wasn't interested in the least. I don't even know that I would say that I had left any It Works distributors blocked, like, or unblocked. Usually as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh gosh, block, go away, which I think in turn was probably subconscious, because I didn't want to believe maybe that it was real, or that other people could change their situations when we were in a really, really bad one. And I'll try to keep this condensed and short, because I wanted to talk about things more than our story. But for me, there were 2 years that we owned a home-based bakery, which sounds really, like, fun and sprinkly and sunshine and roses. But when you are a baker, or when you have any, fresh start business, not only does it take a lot of money, but it takes a lot of time. I worked about 80 hours a week, literally. It was in our home, and you would think that it's like kind of like working at home now, but it's not. I was like a prisoner to the kitchen. We lost friendships and any type of social life. I became like this hermit of myself, and it was a really tough time on our family. So not only was I working that hard, but we had nothing to show from it. Any money that we did make was turning our home into a bakery, and turned around and used for supplies. And so what's really spectacular about that, though, is that the bakery was started to provide income to save us from another business where we had started a group fitness studio. So not only did we have this business loan, an initial business that failed, but now we had another business, and we were just swimming and drowning in debt, and it was literally eating away at our life. So the day that I enrolled as a distributor, someone on Facebook had posted that they were using a cleanse or had gotten a cleanse, something for 40% off. I did not know it was an It Works product. I did not know that this person was even remotely associated with It Works. And but I thought to myself, I had been on a weight loss journey. Obviously, I was a baker. I was around sugar all the time. Thought, maybe I need to try a cleanse. I felt like it would have been right for me. So I messaged the girl. I found out that it was an It Works product. And the one person that I thought, okay, this person will tell me the truth when it comes to It Works, ended up being my enroller and mentor, Dee Brooks, who's incredible, if you don't know her story. But I literally unblocked her on Facebook to reach out to her, and we couldn't afford the cleanse in a nutshell. That's how financially broken we were. How I said yes doesn't really matter right now, but obviously I said yes, and I didn't have any real expectations. I saw that as an executive that you could make $200 in a month, and I knew that that would be a game changer for our family. I had no idea what it would even take to get to be an executive, or how many customers I needed to enroll, or anything like that. I just knew that I needed to do my best. And I didn't even know what the steps to success were, I don't think, for a few weeks. But I just was ignorance on fire. And I didn't have a ton of time. I was a baker. I worked with my hands. I told you I'd become like a hermit, and I didn't leave my house. So it wasn't even like I could engage with people outside of our walls. But I utilized what I could of social media, and every moment that I was awake, I had some type of training going on in the background. And this was in the middle of our eSuite upgrade, so there were no eSuite training videos, which makes that really fun and interesting when you're trying to figure out what you're doing. So I promoted to Diamond in 39 days. I don't know how. I just was going. And it wasn't until the weekend that I promoted to Diamond, it was that Thursday, month end fell on a Saturday, my enroller messaged me, and she was like, oh my God, I think you might be able to go Diamond. I didn't even know what that meant, and I wasn't quite sure that the $10,000 bonus was real. But I thought, oh my gosh, is this for real? And we made it happen. And from there, 30 days later, I promoted to double. My husband was my Diamond, and I've been very, very blessed in that I have been I hate to say the word like mass enroller, but that I produce enough to where I was able to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit about finding diamonds beyond that, because I think that was a huge part of me learning and growing. But it all happened so fast. And the way that my personality is, very different than Mira, not in that I was like looking in the mirror being like, I'm worthy of being a triple diamond, or I'm not worthy. To me, it was almost systematic. I was like, okay, and the next one, and the next one. It was like, okay, I did this, check, like next, check, next. And by no means were those first two promotions easy, but boy, I didn't know what was coming when I thought I was going triple after promoting to double. And so I promoted to double in May of 2017, and then I promoted to triple exactly a year later. And what's really interesting about that is it was the month after I would have earned the $25,000 bonus to go triple. But, and then they brought another one back, the month after I did it. But neither here nor there. And I'll answer the same kind of question that Mira did. What changed for me in that year, because I think what's really important is that I was saying for a year that I was going triple. And for a year, I was on a top enrollers call. I felt like I was giving so much of myself to our team. I never necessarily doubted myself in regards to ability, but I would almost get frustrated because I wanted someone to tell me what I was doing wrong. I wanted someone to give me this like formula and say, oh, it's this, and unfortunately in business in general, but especially in ours, so much of that is outside of our hands, and it is timing, and it is people. And so for me, I promoted to double, and I felt like I had the right people in the right place. They had ran, obviously, to have gotten there that quickly. They were running with me during that time. And then it was kind of like life happened for all of my team at one time, which y'all, like, I don't know how or why or what. The only explanation is that I think the devil just comes for us. And because, everything that, it sounded like a soap opera, the things that were going on in every single diamond leg. And I can remember telling my ambassador, because I had a call with her, and I was like, I feel like I am putting out fires. Like, I'm not growing because I'm doing, this, and I'm patching here and I'm patching there and I'm saving this one. And I kept doing that. I kept doing that for a long time. And if I enrolled a new distributor, I was plugging them in to save these legs that I thought were going to be the legs to carry me to triple. And then my first December happened, and the 25th came. And this is when I learned the significance of business acumen from shifting to double to triple. It was a big red flag. But the 25th came when I thought, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to have maintenance volume. I've never worried about that ever before. And we were shy of maintenance volume for double. And I'm not talking shy like $2,000. We were shy. I think it was, my husband would know, he's like a robot with numbers, but it was substantial. I think it was like $7,000. And I kind of fell to pieces for about 24 hours. And was mad, and I went through all of the range of emotions. And, I blamed my team. They didn't work. I just had this great big pity party, and cried, which I'm not a crier. So I think that's how my husband was like, oh, buddy. But I kind of let myself hit rock bottom, and I thought, okay, this isn't anyone's fault. This is growing. This is what this is. This is a growing pain. And I can just remember saying, like, God, whatever it is I'm supposed to learn in this season, like, would you just show me? And that night, some of my team members are on here, and I think they remember it because they still joke about it now, but I did a live on our team page, which probably wasn't like the best couth because I had a lot of emotion going on there. But in so many words, I had this like realization of like, holy moly, why am I saving all of their butts? Me saving all of their butts. I lost my own. And I had this like, I am done. Like, I don't care if I get paid as a diamond, but I'm going to get paid as a diamond with some dignity. And I'm going to know that, I'm not forcing this on people who obviously don't want it, even if they're telling me that they do. And I don't necessarily mean in terms of production for leaders. I don't care how many loyal customers you enroll. It's the behaviors that matter. And so it was this like come to Jesus moment that I had. And, you know, they say it's easier to give or to have new birth than it is to raise the dead, or whatever that saying is. It made sense to me in that moment. And I kind of cut ties. If there's anyone on here right now where you're in, it sounds horrible, like Mira said, or she was talking about toxic relationship. I often relate dead legs or dragging team members into an unhealthy relationship, because I desperately wanted to take these people with me. I loved them. I felt like they helped me to get to where I was, and they're just going through this season in life. And I took on this kind of responsibility for them. And I knew that it could change their life. And I knew that, you know, like we all do this, right? And when you get scared, because when there's a breakup, even if you know that that person may not be the best person, it's still a person, and you won't be alone. And, you know, you go through these things. And I had to kind of face all of those emotions as a leader. And I had to think like, well, if I don't have them, well, who do I have? And oh my gosh, that means starting over. And starting over is really, really scary. But starting over was the best thing that I could have ever done. And so in January, we went to conference. And it was always there. Like we always knew, okay, well, we're in a rebuilding season now. We know that we're going triple. At that time, we thought, okay, maybe there was one major leg that we knew was going to rebuild. Well, guess what? Life continued to happen for all of those other legs. And it wasn't until we went to, let's see, that was January, February. It was in March. That another leg completely fell aside. And during that season, I was aggressively and intentionally recruiting diamonds. Now, can I identify if someone is a diamond? Nope. And I was wrong. Anytime I ever think someone's going to be a diamond, I'm always wrong. But what I mean by that is I was having conversations with people the minute that I was enrolling them about leadership positions. Mm-hmm. And so even if I enrolled them that next day that I was on the phone with them or whatever, I was saying, hey, I have a Ruby position open, and let me tell you what a Ruby position looks like. Does this sound like something you'd be remotely interested in? And that's scary sometimes to be that bold. But let me tell you, finding out up front is so much better than plugging them there and then, you know, having to live that. And so that was a big change for me. And we completely turned our team 100%, with the exception of my husband. Every single leader changed, and every single diamond leg. And you hear stories, the team that got me to double is not the team that got me to triple. And I was like, oh no, that's not going to be me. I love our team. Our team loves me. It's going to be great. But you know what? Like that's life, and that's business. And what Mira said about finding the right people, 100%. When I went diamond, it's because I hustled like hell. And when I went double, even a lot of that was still 100% me pushing it. Yep. You can't do triple by yourself. You can't. And our team, like if you want me to tell you one thing, it was those people. Like finding those people is the shift. And they're incredible. But you find the right people and you make up your mind. And I'll stop with this. I know we both talked for a long time, but we had the green carpet in Dallas that we went to. And still then because people would always ask, are you going triple? Are you going triple? You know? And it was always yes. We didn't know when. And although you may not realistically know the exact date, like you may be in a building season now, but there will come a time, like it was March for Mira and it was May for us, but there will come a time that you do have to decide. You have to kind of draw the line in the sand and you say, okay, whatever it takes this month, whatever it takes. And we had just come back from Dallas, and on May 1st, Pam Souter had come for a one team, one mission for us. And I was going to throw elbows to sit beside her at dinner. And I was fangirling, and I just, because she does those Ask Pam things. I always would like send in a question like a big nerd, and she wouldn't pick my question, and I was like, I'm gonna ask my question. And so more or less what I walked away through or from with Pam was, she was like, decide. Okay, like if you're going triple, okay, do it. And I was like, okay. And then I said the same thing to our team. Like, are you going to go diamond? Yeah, well, I'm really trying. Well, no, you're not. Like, trying isn't doing it. So like, are you doing it or are you not? And that was the big change for us. Those were long. We should have pre-recorded those, Mira.
We didn't practice at all.
Yeah.
Hey, no, that was awesome. Seriously, I love it. Okay, so let's do a typical day for your business, like non-negotiables. People call it your daily 6 list. Like, what do you have to do every single day? I'm sure these will be similar, but it's always interesting. I feel like everyone has a little bit of their own spin on it. So what are your non-negotiables? Who wants to go first? Mira?
Yeah, I can go first. I'm kind of very unconventional on this kind of stuff. So first of all, just so you guys know, I build 100% on Facebook for social. I don't even touch IG. Like, I don't even open it. And I do parties. I love parties. I'm up and down though. I'm not consistent, but I do love them. And I do in-person stuff. Like, I think most of us do though. Like, you will have appointments at Panera or Starbucks or whatever. But no, so so my job, I worked full time until last Friday. Last Friday was actually my last day. And so I'm still what's all this time? Like, I've never had time. It's very, very weird right now. So I'm still kind of processing, like, what's that going to look like? Am I going to try to accelerate my goals and all that? But certainly when I was working full time and double, going triple, what I was trying to do, the way I worked was really look at more, how many DTs did I need in a month? And not so much LCs. I'd kind of scramble at the end of the month on that, or let them come in organically. But I've always been very focused on the business and recruiting, right? So be more like, okay, if I need to hit steps to success 3 times this month to kind of hit my goal for building to triple, then that's 2 or 3 a week. And so I would just work until I got those 2 or 3. Okay. I'd have lots of conversations going on, and the like. So I could have some days where I reach out to 20 people and some days where I just do follow-ups. So I'm a little bit weird. Like, I add people, but it's super sporadic. It's a lot. So I'm not very good. Like, I don't have like here's my 6 list every day. I spend I do way more coaching as a percentage wise than I probably, that the leadership would tell us. I spend an insane amount of percentage of my time coaching. I think what happened, and I don't know, maybe everybody in this Zoom feels this way, but certainly once I kind of get in my rhythm on recruiting, I feel like it doesn't take me that much time, because I do what I call recruiting by intuition. Okay. I'm not mass messaging. I'm kind of looking every day, all right, I have a vibe about this girl, and that doesn't mean they're liking my posts, or I really feel like I've been interacting with this girl for like 3 weeks and I think she's going to kill it. I've earned that ask. So the way I kind of coach my team is, have I earned the ask? So it's more about answering the question every day. Who is ready for me to ask them? I'm religious about follow-ups. Follow-ups are a daily activity. And then the coaching. So I'm not a good role model, I feel like, on this, because I don't have a list and I kind of go with my gut. So maybe Lauren will be more structured. I don't know.
Wrong. So wrong. Well, I wanted you to share, because you came from working full time, and that just blows my mind. Like, people who work full time and build the business like this, I'm like, I feel like I should like bow down because I didn't even fold laundry the month of May. So and then I want to talk about when I first started the business because I was baking full time. And for people who do need kind of more structure, because I did have to be very structured then. And it is true, when you stop working and only work full time, it becomes more difficult because you're like, I have all day. You're like, I haven't done anything, and it's 9 p.m. So anyway, when I first started, I prepped my post. I prepped my post on Sundays. And even from the beginning, I told you guys, I hated It Works distributors. And I didn't hate It Works distributors, but I had been on a 90-pound weight loss journey and previously, and I felt like the way the products were marketed, it rubbed me the wrong way. And I had always used myself, and I still always use myself as a filter. I think because of the laws of attraction, like you do attract who you are. You don't like who you're attracting. Think about who you're like what you're doing. But anyway, I would use myself as a filter. Like, how would I respond to this? What would I say to this post? So I didn't realize that I was doing attraction marketing. I just knew that I didn't. I was like, I don't want to be tacky. I kept saying like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that. So there were things that really successful people were doing and saying, and I didn't want to do it because it didn't feel authentic to who I was. That didn't mean I didn't want to get outside of my comfort zone, but I was trying to be authentic to who I was. So I would prep my post, and I don't mean just It Works post, because I had been so inactive on social media before outside of our bakery. I knew that I was going to have to ease into it without looking like, oh, hey, I'm posting all the time now because I'm selling stuff. So I had to balance that. And so I would like go on Pinterest. I didn't know anything about the algorithm or anything like that yet, but I would, try to look for a funny mom quote or a cute outfit. I was really struggling with self-esteem at the time. So it's really interesting that if you go back and look at I wouldn't take a selfie, which is funny. And, but you don't know what people are going through. So anyway, I would use like pre-made kind of images and, pre-plan when I was going to use what. And I didn't use Buffer or anything like that, but I just had it all saved and kind of organized, on my phone. And same thing even with wording. I would take, maybe like an hour, because I didn't have 15 minutes in the middle of the day to necessarily sit down and do that. So I would prep whatever I was going to say with whatever photograph. And my days weren't really interesting. Like, what was I was like, here I am baking again, So I would prep my content and then share it that way. When I first, even to the point of going, I think I'd started some messaging when I went double, but even almost all the way to double, I had just like the fear of God in me when it came to messaging. And if someone did not give me pretty much like the red flag of come on in, like I was not going to do that. And I think again, it's because I was using myself as a filter, and I was using how I had been approached before. And I was like, I don't ever want to make anyone feel that way. And then I had this like epiphany that like, I didn't have to. Like, no one said you had to do that. Like I could say or do whatever I want to do. So anyway, I would post, and if whoever liked it or commented, then I would follow up with those people later that night. And that was how I worked in the business. Now in the beginning, or now obviously versus the beginning, I'm much more educated in regards to algorithm. And I'd like to make note of it has changed. What we could do a year ago is not going to get you the response now that it is, or that it did then. And that doesn't mean that anything changed except the algorithm. And I try to tell my team that all the time when they get discouraged by post. But I 100% spend more time in Messenger than I do posting. I actually don't post as much as I probably should now. There are days like today, I think I posted once and it hasn't been about the business or anything. But I think that has really been beneficial to me in some ways, because when I am talking to potential distributors, and I can share with them that how they choose to build their business is 100% to them, whether that be with parties or in person or online, and if, you know, messaging or posting or whatever. And because the job description is ultimately our timeline if you work predominantly on social media. And so when I do post, I try to make sure that it's quality over quantity, and that it's something that is relevant to, I guess, like, you know, my brand. Everyone talks about like who you are, but also of some sort of either value or relatability, and that I'm never just going to share something just to share it. And if I feel that pressure, then again, like I don't share. And if that means that I go a day with only one post, then it was a really good, authentic post. And if there's a day that I post 16 times, then it's because, like, you know, I was really excited about whatever that was. But the time that I spend in Messenger, and hold on, my work notebook is on here. Babe, did you grab my work notebook? Did you grab the chart book? Sorry, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do. But I have off my friends list, it's printed. And if you don't have your friends list printed, I would highly encourage you to, because this changed everything for me. Especially when I transitioned to just working full time, I would be on my phone all day, and then I would be like, wait, I don't know what I did. And I didn't have a measurable. And and Courtney, to answer this, well, I just saw your question pop up. I printed this one in January, and I have not reprinted it since, but I'm in due time. But I'm about to show you guys a page, and you'll see why. So I don't ever scroll my newsfeed anymore, ever. And I encourage and coach our leaders to do the same, because more than likely, if those people are on your newsfeed, then you're on theirs. And I take that back. I said ever, but maybe occasionally. But I definitely don't do this multiple times a day. But so anyway, when I do something called intentional interaction. So every single day, I'll pick a page. I have 92 names, 92 or 96 names on a page, and sometimes I might get through an entire page. Sometimes I might not. I think that's one of the beautiful things about the business, is that every day doesn't have to be so rigid. Allow it to flow with your life, because you're going to be happier. And by having a measurable, even if it was only 8 people at the end of the night, I could be like, hey, how about that? I interacted with 8 people. It didn't matter before, because I didn't know, I didn't have any measure of it. So anyway, I would go through, and if I and I write little notes beside them. So initially, this is truly just interaction. Like, I'm just going to these people's pages and interacting with them. I comment on their pictures or ask them a question. I'm a vibe recruiter too, like Mira. But I don't, rarely will I send like a message right away, but I do utilize Facebook lists. So I have a PDT list and a PLC list. And depending on whatever was going on in my gut, I guess, I would put them onto that list. And, at that point, hope that they would somehow show up in my algorithm. And then, I would highlight it off, or I would write PLC, PDT. I would maybe put a check if they had gotten a message, any kind of notes. But I am a very physical, I like to write things. So this was really helpful for me. And so this is how I started utilizing the friends list. But 2 months ago, I did start doing post to post. I know that it's been beaten with a dead horse, but last month I enrolled 112 loyal customers with Host to Post. So if you hadn't tried it, give it a go. But so now with the same list, what I'm able to do is go back. So these people somehow know who I am. Like I've creeped on their Facebook before. We're connected in some way. I may have not asked them to be a customer or a distributor, or I may have. But I was able to go back to all of these people and ask them to host a post for me. And where that was a game changer for me and my business and how it has become a priority now is before I told you guys I had like a fear of God in me about messaging, and I got over that, but I would overthink, should I go business? Should I go loyal customer? Should I say this first? But have we interacted enough? Have I earned the ask? And I would have this total mental psych out. And Host to Post has removed that for me because I'm able to lead with Host to Post. And from there, if anyone says yes, they 100% go on a PDD list, because if they're willing to post, then they can do the job. And even if they don't know that they are. Obviously, if they get a great response from that, then I'm able to go back to them and lead with that conversation. Even if they don't, a month later, guess what? I'm in their inbox and I'm like, hey, you hosted a post. I'm able to share the business opportunity with them. So it just kind of sets it up for me to where I can have this continued followed up conversations. And again, they get sorted into PDT or PLC. So that's that. It's not 6 things, but I do this for my business every single day. And sometimes it might be all 90 names, and sometimes it might be 5. It depends on the day and life. But I will say this, I got to be on a call with Alyssa Billieu, and it was an ambassador push call, and she talked about, because I used to say that all the time, I'd be like, enjoy it, and that's why we do this job. Like if there are days that we don't, so life happens and we can't work, then it's okay. It's freedom, right? Have we all been there? Because I did that. And she said on the call, she said, you guys, you need to understand that during times when you're pushing for a promotion like triple, prez, or ambassador, the freedom is gone. The freedom is gone. And then it becomes hustle like you've never hustled before. And you do that so you get the freedom again one day. Because during this time, and it hasn't stopped yet, I giggled because Mira sent me a message and she was like, oh my gosh, are you still exhausted? And it feels like I freaking gave birth, y'all. Like I'm like death walking still. But it's the hardest I ever worked. And during May, so I gave you guys my normal like business, how I worked the business. During May, it was sun up to sundown. Sun up to sundown. And until like I would fall asleep on the couch, sometimes I would like cat nap for 15 minutes and like wake myself up to do it again. I've never worked as hard as I did in May. And this list though, for me, it just gave me a measurable. It allowed me to feel like I was doing something. And I'll stop with saying this. Even in that time, and I have team members who are still pushing for the promotions right now, when you're doing all the right things, sometimes the pace of customers and distributors signing isn't what you want it to be. And we can think, okay, well, I'm working so hard and it's not I'm getting the same result that I got when I was working only 15 minutes a day. So why don't I just go back to working 15 minutes a day? Mike said this quote, but it was, consistent effort does not always equal consistent results, but it always equals success. And I wrote that so many times in this notebook and in my planner. And I'm going to cry even talking about it, because there were nights, y'all, that I would be like, I didn't even freaking sign a customer today. It's been 48 hours, or it's been this, and I haven't signed. And this is important for everyone to know. Last May, the month that I promoted to triple, was the first month I've ever not completed the steps to success. I didn't recruit enough distributors, and I was so tore up about that, y'all. But I wrote that quote, and I'll type it in here. And I feel like I say it to my team every day now too. Mira said that she spends so much time talking to them. Yes, I talked to my top line leaders. Oh my gosh, constantly. We have a leadership chat group. but I love them, and it's what changed that leadership tracker. This is what changed everything for us. And yes, I talk to them constantly. I should probably have better barriers, but it's constant. Sorry, those were long answers again.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Okay. Before I pick a question that's going to have longer answers, number one, like what's your go-to self-development daily? Like if you do any self-development daily, and then if you have like a book, like if you had to choose one book, I want to hear it.
So I'm more like I like watching training videos instead of books. I actually love reading, but to me, it doesn't stick with me that way. So I'll often go and try to find like an ambassador of Zoom, or I think Rachel Jones just joined. I'll go find something that Rachel did or that Jade did, where they're just like fired up, and that math, like it just fires me up. So I use a lot of like it works videos to fire me up, and sometimes I will use like a Steve Furtick video or something like that. But I'm very video focused and audio focused. It's just how I process that kind of stuff, and I get really lifted up. Like the Dee Brooks one with Morgan McIntyre, like it's supposed to be about host to post, and they finally get to that like 40 minutes into the but the first 30 to 40 minutes is all about mindset, and you just watch them. And I told my whole team, like every single person needs to watch the first 40 minutes. I don't even care if you make it the host to post part, but because it's all, you can watch the mindset of the top enroller in the company right now with Morgan and Dee, who just went presidential. It's amazing. So that's the kind of thing I do. Like that just juices me really, really well. And I try to do something every day because it just gets me super focused. So no books. The other thing though I did though that really helped me because it sounded like that Lauren didn't have to face this, but I had to get over my insecurities. I physically wrote affirmations in early September when all this was kind of processing through my head. Physically wrote 4 affirmations that said, I am triple diamond, I can do this, I am fearless, and I will change lives. Wrote them on a huge board, put it across from my bed. Now remember, I was newly divorced, so there was nobody else in my bed to complain. And I would look at those and say those every day. And those were the 4 affirmations that I needed. I coach my team, your affirmation may be different, but I will tell you that speaking those words out loud changed some of the neurons up here and some of the heart here. So that's another thing that I did that really helped me a lot for triple.
I love videos too, and it works videos. If I need like a little bit of kind of fire, I like Tony Robbins, but especially like the last 2 months, I felt like my mindset was already there. The rest of it was pieces falling into place, and believe it or not, the month though in May, I listened maybe to a couple of things, but I actually made the choice to stop, because sometimes when I would listen to other top enroller calls or like Jade or Morgan, whatever, and I would hear what they were doing, I would allow it to make me second guess what I was doing, or allow me to dilute what I was doing, because I would think, well, I need to layer on. Like, I thought it was funny when you said you don't work Instagram, because you hear these calls of people on Instagram, and so I would be like, oh, I need to do Instagram. And then I would spend this whole day, doing something on Instagram. And so what I would like to say about that is 100% if you need inspiration, but if you are at a point where what you're doing, you feel some sort of traction, don't allow what other people did to be like yes, use it, learn from it, but don't allow it to make you second guess yourself. As for a book, it's funny because I do have this book, but it became most relevant to me when I re-listened to it through audio, and it's the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And specifically the law of the lid, and which is the first chapter. Even you can watch it on YouTube, you guys, and hear it. If it sounds like Japanese, like another foreign language, then that means that you need to raise your lid, because the first probably 17 times, and I even played it over and over and over again, because I was like, I don't understand this. Like, I couldn't wrap my brain around it, and I couldn't until this. But he talks about how every leader, so everyone on here right now, we have this kind of predetermined lid that we're capable of leading at in this exact moment. Okay, so maybe it's a 4, maybe it's a 7, whatever it is. Whatever your lid is, your team is under that. So your team, if you're a 7, your team's a 6. Okay, and we sometimes get frustrated because we're like, our team is acting like a 6, but they're a 6 because we're a 7. And so it talks about how developing yourself as a leader and turning that focus to them to better serve them, and shifting that to their growth, how in turn it raises your lid as a leader, and everyone grows and moves together. So anyway, listen to it, because now I'm like, oh my God, it was the lid. I was the lid. I was keeping everybody down the whole time. So Google that.
Awesome. Okay. I want to touch on the questions that were asked in the chat on the Tomorrow's Triples page. So that would be, I feel like you guys kind of covered attracting and finding potential distributors in the way that you guys talked about vibing and interacting and that kind of a thing. But what does duplication look like for you and your organization as far as, delegation, creating layered leadership? So maybe when I read that, I thought, like, what's your best tip in staying out of management mode and staying in, like, recruitment / coaching / training your newbies mode, boss babe mode, as I like to call it.
Well, I think, even still, you can still slip into it. Like, I still slip into it sometimes, and I have to pull myself out. But, you have to trust your intuition. I'm going to go back to intuition again about whether somebody is really ready for a specific level, a specific promotion. And then you have to give them the tools. So the first thing is, you're going to have people that are, they maybe read themselves, that are going to just be like, yeah, I'm ready to go diamond. And they have some innate abilities, or innate confidence. And it's really easy to be like, oh, that's a diamond, I'm going to coach them. But a lot of people, like a lot of my awesome yellows, like I had to infuse belief into them that they could go emerald or could go diamond, and then coach them into what that means to be leading. So fundamentally, you've got to have really good communication, like to say to them, I just say this out loud. I don't want to be the only leader on this team. I want to work with you to grow your leadership skills. Are you ready for that? Right. But you also have to trust your gut. Like, I have 23-year-olds, and I'm sorry if anybody on here is 23, but that it's not really about age, but they're so immature. Like, they're not ready to lead. I'm sorry. I'm 42, guys. So I'm old enough to be your half of your mothers probably, but I can see that. And so I'm not going to impose on that person as much coaching on leadership. They may be ready for certain things. But a lot of it is definitely like trusting your instinct about a person, and then really open communication. For me, I'm a super control freak. So to go triple, I had to let go a little bit and let people grow into that stuff. So that some of that's like, if I saw somebody that really, I could see that interest in leading, and I'd coach them, and then I'd release. No, Mira, you're not going to be in every chat. You're not going to coach every good newbie who's ready to go Ruby. You're going to let her coach them to Ruby. And some of that, so that's just my personality flaw, that I had to get myself, but it took me 2.5 years to basically get over that. And then I do lots of things, which I'm sure lots of other people do, but was a big deal for me, like just letting people that are rubies or emeralds, but ready to push their skill set into into leading a power hour, or to running the page. Like we'll have different people be the point person on the team page at different times. So that's it. But so much of it is just finding the right people and then kind of coaching them how to lead and letting go. I think a lot of us build ourselves so much up to double. Like, I think a lot of people that I talk to that go double basically build themselves, that it's real hard to let go. But you just have to. And the funny thing is, once you change your expectations of people and you make those expectations clear, like, I expect you to lead, and they're willing and open to that, they're much more likely to do that. I don't even know how many people I suppressed their leadership skills because I was such a control freak my first 2 years. So that's kind of the leadership thing. And of course we have the chats and all of that. In terms of overall duplication, I mean, I think a lot of people do. I have a very robust training page. We have very standardized, here's what you're expected to do. Tremendous team culture, very OTOM. I'm like, half the people don't even know who's on their leg. It's just all very supportive. And when it came to promotion time, it actually helped quite a bit, because the amount of energy and support across the whole team to have this all happen in all 3 legs, it wasn't like these little silos. Like, I actually didn't pull people into these little leg silos and then I'm doing a contest for this one emerald leg. I didn't do that. Everybody was together and it was all really transparent. We're all pushing. Mira's going triple, Erica's going double, so-and-so and so-and-so are going diamond, and like all the way down. And I actually think that culture helped a lot as well. And it helps perpetuate duplication in the sense that people want to be part of the whole, the whole energy of it. So that's just my little 2 nuggets.
Yeah. So very, very similar in that, as for new distributors, we also have a training page. Layered leadership became huge for me. I think, like she said, we all probably feel a little bit of control freaks when we look at our double, or at least I also did, because a lot of that was built, and I felt like, if I don't work it, no one, who's going to work it? And when I told you that we decided in May, but really 2 months before that is when a lot of groundwork started to be laid, and I was able to kind of mentally release and let go of those legs and accept I was building new, had a blank chart again, and started having those conversations. Then I did go through every single person that was on a chart. If I enrolled them, if I didn't enroll them, it didn't matter to me. I went through those legs. One of my diamond legs is, oh my gosh, y'all, she is so far down on the chart. Like I was never even like really paid on her until I went triple. But I mean, so far down. Not personally enrolled. I know everyone has their own 2 cents or opinion on that. But for me, I want to run with anyone who wants to run, and I will love them as far as they want to go. And so for a moment, or during that time, and really up until May, I kept telling myself, I just want to know what all of their goals are. Like, I had been so concerned about my goal of going triple for so long. I was like, I don't even know what theirs are. Like, that's how selfish of me. And so I went through, and it took a long time, and it was really humbling. Let me tell you, it doesn't feel great to reach out to someone when you like, because I would go through these emotions of like, was I not a great leader for this person? Or maybe I didn't follow up, or maybe I should have been there more for them and they fell off the bandwagon. I went through all those emotions, and what I found out is that, y'all, people are good, and for the most part. And even if this business isn't the right thing for everybody, which is okay, and we know that coming into it, all of those people who are on our team, even if they don't actively work the business, they were willing to host a post. They were encouraging and kind. I gave them the option to stay on or off the team page. And it was this kind of good closure kind of feeling. You know, we didn't have that weird limbo of like, what are we doing? Are you going to keep pretending that you're working or not? You know, we had that kind of, it wasn't awkward anymore because I didn't make it awkward. Like I was like, look, I just need to know, like, you in or you're out. And so then once I had that, and any of them, they may have been a 400 box, but when if someone came back and said, no, like, I really want to go diamond. They may have not even had an idea of where to start from that. But those people, then I was able to say, okay, well, here's the first, because after conference, it was the Big Emerald push, right, for the bonus. And so I put all of those people who wanted to go Emerald into an initial chat to kind of see what they did. Like who was going to run, who was going to kind of rise to the occasion. And so from there, they say cream rises to the top no matter where they're at on your chart, and that's the truth. So they kind of revealed themselves to me. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I 100% believe that faith is woven into our business, and I feel like the right people fell into the right place at the right time, and intentionally so. But so once that kind of started happening, and I'd gone through all the people, and I figured out, okay, like this is what I'm working with, I had almost contractual conversations, and it sounded like, okay, you said you wanted to go diamond. I need a diamond. This is what a diamond looks like. This is what you're responsible for producing. This is the amount of volume. This is the amount of people that you're going to lead and you know, conduct with. Like, do you feel like this is something that you could do? Do you feel like you could grow a team of 24 people? Do you know, and I would ask them these questions and give them every opportunity to freak out on me. And in conclusion, I would say, okay, like this is our binding contract. I'm going to run with you, but we're going to do this. You're not trying, you're not wishing, you're not hoping. There's no more of that. You're going to go diamond, and this is the timeline that we're working with. Are you in? And so they all had a timeline up front, and once they all agreed, they got downline chats. And that was something that I learned from Michelle. I know a lot of teams do that. We have a team page, but we also had a specific downline chat, which is really beneficial because some of, like, if I'm enrolling, they may have enrolled half the people, but if I enrolled half the people and I'm placing them with them, it allows that new distributor to have that additional support and mentor group. But it allows that diamond who's kind of in control of that chat, and they're responsible for leading and communicating, to form a relationship with them to where it's not just me, and it kind of bridges that. So as far as situational leadership, it was situational leadership, because when we first started the chats, they obviously weren't diamonds. They weren't diamond leaders. They weren't ready for that. So in the beginning, yes, I did a lot. And it was a lot of, I don't like to say management mode, but it was very directional because they didn't know, you guys. It was me sending, this is what we're doing today. This is your personal development time. Like pick whatever you want. Come back and tell me what it is. I want you to come back and tell me a potential distributor that you found today, or there was some type of measurable activities that I was giving them. Or it would say, I want you to go to your downline chat and say something, encourage them, say something to them in the beginning. But then that slowly came, back. The first week I may have said that. Then I would have prefaced again, okay, now next week, I want you to come up with something, but for them. Or, by the next month, it may have been, okay, I want you to go live in the team page. I want you to create the event. I want you to tell your Ruby this or whatever. So yes, I was really involved in the beginning, but it was situational, because as they were growing, I was taking a step back and a step back. Now, almost all my communication is only directly with those, like I'm in a chat with those leaders, and I tell them things, but they know that they're ultimately like responsible for getting that back to to their team and their people. And then we have kind of touch bases where they're telling me, well, my Ruby's doing this and my Emerald's doing this. And it's so nice. It's so nice. Like you want to be in control in the beginning, but you guys, when you're empowering and working for your people and you see them shine, it really is the best feeling in the world. Yes, I still don't know that it's hit me that I've gone triple. I'm just still so dang excited there are other people on my team that are diamond. And for me, like, that's just incredible, and seeing them grow. So in the beginning, yes, you may have to be very directional and not managerial. Directional is a better word. Okay. So just very high level direction. And then as they grow, then it becomes to where it's more empowering and you're allowing them to make decisions and then coaching them sometimes when it's wrong. And it's scary sometimes, but you got to take the risk and kind of let them learn.
Okay. I know we've been on here for a long time.
Oh, sorry.
No, I love it. I think it's great. And nobody's left, so I take that as a good sign, right? I feel like we covered everything that was asked, like, in our chats and stuff. Is there anybody here that has a burning question that they want Lauren and Mira to answer? Burning. So you guys covered that.
Kelly, can I just say one thing that I haven't said about how I structured stuff?
Yeah.
So when I decided I would go triple, it was September, and I didn't even have a third diamond, or I didn't even have like a third leader to work with. And my second leg was like the person that would ultimately be diamond, had just joined. So I literally, so again, super green, like mapped everything out. And for some reason, I just felt like March was the month, but it wasn't just all about box numbers. I kind of obviously there's box numbers, right? I need like 17 more people we box, but I just looked realistically, like, what do I need to get this second leg set to get Erica to double and this third leg get going. And then, so I had goals about how many distributors we're recruiting that were not necessarily tied to all the boxes, but just where I needed to find leaders, and complete, kind of build from scratch. So I bet there's people on here that are so far away from triple, they're like, oh God, never. But remember, I was that far away too, almost, like I was a week double. So, so it's just, I think it can be overwhelming if you're that far away and you don't develop a plan. So I just really recommend, let's like say, okay, I know people want the bonus this month, but it's like, I want the presidential bonus this month. It's not going to happen this month. I'm building for September presidential because that's what it's going to take that long. So, if you're that far away, I would definitely be like, okay, all right, here's what I need to do to set the first two legs, because you probably have two working legs if you're double. And then for that third diamond, I just want to say this again. I just kept recruiting, right? It took me 8 people to find the person that was the right leader. Once I found the right leader in November, I said, okay, and she started signing her top line. I'm like, okay, how do I take this leg and get it to diamond from November to March? Okay. And I said, okay, I need to do this many distributors and blah, blah, blah. So I had all this math done, like not crazy math, because it's like simple addition, but you really have to focus on getting the leaders in place. You cannot even build your third diamond, just on yourself. Like, it's got to be somebody there that can, and hopefully multiple people there that can contribute pretty strongly. So I just wanted to say, like, if it feels really overwhelming, like, break it up into chunks and give yourself a set goal. Like, okay, this month I'm going to bring that second emerald to a diamond, and find the right leaders to do it at the same time. And I was very, very like planful, because because I had a lot of ground to cover, but I did build from November to March once I found the right person.
Mira, I'm coaching our team to do the same way. So like if they need, I say, okay, you need to find 3 rubies, and then you need to coach those rubies to find 3. And then that ruby needs to coach one of those to find 2. So it just makes it feel
more right.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I think it's such a big jump from double to triple, obviously. And so it's just, I think that so many people just get overwhelmed. And so breaking it down like that is huge.
Yes.
Courtney. So Courtney, I was just at that point, I was just putting everybody on my top. I put like tons of people on this top line. And I was stacking. I was like, well, maybe I'll just build somebody really weak. But then somebody came in, an 8th person in for this push, and she was awesome. And so, she signed like 30 loyal customers her first month and built all 5 of her top lines. I was like, okay, we're going. But I didn't know that she would, honestly, I did not know that she would do that. So you got to find that person. And it was just, obviously she was underneath a couple, legs, but I dropped down and built her. Like Lauren was saying, you run with the people that are ready.
I love it. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? We've been on for a while. I just feel bad for Mira. No, I feel bad for you guys and taking up your time.
Tiffany, really quick in the chat, I'm assuming since I talked about host to post, I say to them, and it depends, because like if we've never talked at all, it depends on the vibe. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know that, like I want to ask them to do that yet. But when I do, I preface it with, hey, I know we haven't connected on Facebook before, and I'm not sure if you've seen my post, but and then I go into, would you be willing to share a post on your timeline if I give you the wording? I can send you I'll post in the triples page the exact verbiage that I use for host to post, for both someone that I've reached out to before and for a colder message, I guess. But I still go creep on their page even before I ask them that. Like I go like and interact a little bit.
All right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for doing this call. I'm so excited for you two, and I'm really glad that we're able to do this week. So thank you so much. I will work on getting this recording uploaded to YouTube, and then I will post it in the Tomorrow's Triples page so that everyone can share it with anyone and everyone.
Yay.
Thank you, ladies, so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone else for jumping on.
Thank you.